Canadian English. Here we are going to see the main linguistic characteristics and cultural influences in Canadian English. Colonization. The first people who arrived came from Asia. They were Inuit and Métis indigenous. Then the European colonization, but they didn't stay so much. In 1600s, French and British colonizers arrived, and both of them claimed the land. In 1608, Quebec was the first France's colony, and the French and British fight culminated in the French and Indian War in 1763. In 1982, the British government granted Canada control over its constitution, effectively making it an independent country. In 1969, Canada was an official bilingual country. Origins. Canada has British and French ancestors, as well as small groups of First Nations, and this diversity of cultures and varieties of languages have influenced Canadian English, which is now the primary language in most of Canada. Canadian English is not fully American, not fully British, and it has unique characteristics. Around 27 million people speak English, and 8 million people speak French, and around 6 million Canadians are bilingual. Englishes around the world. The expansion of English worldwide has established it as a bridge to enable global communication, which is known as lingua franca. The spread of English has given rise to many varieties of English. Consequently, some models have been proposed to classify them. One of them is CanE's 3 circles of English. Canadian English belongs to the inner circle, as you can see here, because in Canadian English is spoken as a native language by the majority, and it has an official status. Another model is Mayor Failure. Here, Canadian English is classified as a super-central variety because Canadian English is used for international communication, and it is used to media, technology, and education. Move off. Canadian English features. Canadian English is a mixture of British and American English with unique regionalisms and indigenous borrowings. All of these shape the Canadian English. Here we can see vocabulary. Some words could be the same and others are totally different. For example, beer is the same from British and Canadian English, but for American English could be Czech or beer. And trainers is so different. In British, trainers. American English, sneakers. Canadian English, runners. One Aborigin's influence in Canadian English is washroom, but in American is bathroom, and in British is toilet. And hydro is a distinctive word in Canadian English because in British and American English is called electricity. Spelling. Canadian English includes a hybrid spelling, but closer to British forms. We can see here. Pronunciation. I caught the cat. This is a malapropismo, where the two words are pronounced really similar in American and Canadian English, but different in British English. Adult is for American and Canadian, and adult is for British. And sorry is a really distinctive word. Grammar. That question A is a characteristic discourse in Canadian English. And collective nouns are used in singular in Canadian and American English, while in British is used in plural. Traditions. Indigenous origins we can see these indigenous origins in place names and in some lexical borrowings words. Indigenous traditions show respect for the land and indigenous cultural identity. French Canadian influence shapes Canadian identity and language. British traditions influence Canadian culture and language too. American cultural exchange due to the long shared border and its geographic proximity influence pronunciation. On the other hand, Canada is a multiculturalism nation, so they celebrate inclusivity and cultural measure. These all facts have shapes the Canadian English along the history. Thank you.